Thousands of patients with leukemia, sickle cell, and other blood diseases need a donor like you. Learn how you can help at BeTheMatch.org.
The views expressed in the following program do not necessarily represent the views of the staff and management of WVUA 23.
Bringing you analysis and insight into the Crimson Tide. Your Crimson cover hosts, John Copeland, Mike Parker, and Chase Goodbread. Sponsored by Burnham Hahn and by Crimson Village.
Welcome into Crimson Cover Television on WVUA 23. I'm Chase Goodbread, sports columnist with the Tuscaloosa News. I'm joined, as always, by Big John Copeland, 1992 All-American defensive end for the Crimson Tide. Mike Parker out again this week. John, we got a big show tonight. Going to be talking a little Bryce Young out of the gate. He is on his way to the Manning Academy, and we will take a look at what he's been doing this summer to improve, which for him isn't easy to do, as good as he is. We will also check in with the Alabama basketball program and what's going on with a scholarship opening that Nate Oates has at the end of the roster. SEC preview finishes off with Vanderbilt in the SEC East. We'll have a little bit of recruiting news, a little bit of everything. Starting though, John, with Bryce Young, and you know, what the next step in his improvement is been a topic of discussion. Nick Kelly, the Tuscaloosa News beat writer who does such a great job, put together a strong feature on what Bryce Young's been doing in the offseason to step his game up, particularly focused on the month of May, which is the 1 month these players get away from school and get home and get 4 weeks off on their own. He went back home to Orange County, California, John, worked with his private quarterback coach on footwork, basically mechanics was what you got out of it. And we're talking about a Heisman Trophy winner, right? And yeah, a Heisman Trophy winner, how much better can you get? That's a fair question to ask. But look, I don't care who you are. I don't care what awards you won, Heisman Trophy or otherwise, you're always looking to step it up somehow in the offseason. And footwork and getting his body in the right position to make the right throw, that's what he was focused on, because that's where they saw a few problems, a few issues last season, as few as they were.
You know, there's no doubt about it, Chase. It doesn't matter how good you are as a player. You can always find something that you can get better at. You know, mechanics is the biggest thing. When you talk about football, it doesn't matter what position it is. It's all about the fundamentals. It's all about the mechanics. And you can always get better at the mechanic. When you talk about the quarterback position, you know, you talk about accuracy, you talk about footwork, you talk about seeing the field, you talk about delivery. And in my opinion, even though he's won the Heisman, I still think he can get better at all of those things. And I would like to see him run the ball just a little bit more.
John, another interesting note on Young's efforts to get better in the month of May while he was home. Guess who was catching balls during these workouts? Tyler Harrell, the transfer from Louisville who can run the 4.2. Jermaine Burton, the transfer from Georgia who looks so good on A-Day and is probably going to be at the top of this receiving rotation. Cameron Latou, the senior tight end, made the trip out to California. Finding some – now, look, the transfers, obviously they need to find some chemistry with the new guy.
Chemistry, baby.
But Latou, and, you know, obviously Latou's been here a couple of years.
But you can always
no
improve
doubt.
On the chemistry.
No doubt.
Always. If you got a fresh guy, a new guy coming in, and you're able to throw balls to him throughout the summer, that chemistry just builds. And as a quarterback, the quarterback-receiver relationship, it's all about chemistry.
What was the difference, John, back in your day when it comes to the off? I know the offseason was longer. I know it was less regimented. Look, I saw with my own eyes. I was old enough to remember that a lot of times college, especially linemen, John, offensive linemen especially, at the end of spring practice, they're 275. And when they get to fall, I'm talking about the 80s and 90s now.
Yes.
And then when they get to fall camp in August, they're 315.
Hey, look. Chase,
and way out of shape.
When we left school, and I had a month off from school, football, before summer school started, I didn't think about football. I didn't work out. I didn't do anything. I ate mama cooking. I got fat. I hung out with friends back at home. I partied. Didn't think about football. But now football is such a big business. It's a year-round sport for these kids. It's year-round sports for these coaches. And it's a business. It's no longer just fun and games out there.
The culture for football players going to summer school, both summer sessions.
Oh, you have to.
You have to now.
I mean, we did that back then, though. Most of us.
I don't know.
I was there.
I'm sure you were, but there wasn't 85 scholarship guys going to summer school back then.
The guys that
how many out of 80? Just guess out of 85.
I would say this: the guys that was going to have an impact on the season was there.
Right. Well, at any rate, Bryce Young definitely doing everything he can to get better for 2022.
Another thing, too, that these kids do that we didn't do, that I found out, the coaches can't be out there for like 7-on-7s and O-line, D-line one-on-ones kind of thing. These kids get together, set a time, go out there on the football field, and do these things themselves.
It comes from 7-on-7.
And it's one-on-one, offensive line and defensive line. Look, when I was in college, and we went over there and we worked out, we was not going back over there in an organized scrimmage.
Everything was pickup.
No, we wasn't doing that. We was going to go play basketball, then we was going to go barbecue and drink beer.
But when you decided to play, when you wanted to play some football on your own, if you did.
No, we didn't play no football.
Not at all.
No, we work out, then we go hang out.
Not even pick up.
No, we work out, then we go hang out.
All right. What about the Manning of Passing Academy invitation to Bryce Young? John, before we get out of here for this first segment, really quickly on that. Elite camp, only the very best college quarterbacks get an invitation. Young's certainly a no-brainer, but they take, I don't know, roughly 20, 30 of these top guys to be counselors, right? Mm-hmm. And Peyton and Eli Manning pretty much run the thing. Archie Manning is over the top of everything, just kind of the overseer. And it's huge. It's on a huge campus, thousands of youngsters, and each college quarterback has a group of maybe 10, 15 guys. Could be older, could be younger, and
anytime you get a chance to be in the same room, being able to talk to either Manning about playing the quarterback position, that's a situation you definitely have to take advantage of, because when you think about the quarterback position, nobody ever played it better than Eli Manning.
And it fits right into what we've been talking about since the top of the show, John. It's just yet another example of organized activity, even though it's not full pad contact football, organized football activity in the off season that the best players flock to train and get better. From Bryce Young doing what he's doing with his bringing receivers to California to throw to him in May, to the Manning Academy and all the 7-on-7 stuff. It's got no end.
The game have evolutionized so much. Like, I mean, now everything is, you can film everything. Everything is so analytical. I mean, you can get down to with technology to tell you how much force you're using with steps.
GPS.
Oh, it's been. I mean, the evolution of the game right now is crazy. And some of these kids are taking advantage of it. And I mean, I don't know if I would have been well in this evolutionized stage, because I like to hang out.
That was a fantastic finish. All right, next segment, we're going to be talking to Alabama basketball, Nate Oates, and what he's got to say about Alabama's last open scholarship to offer. We'll be right back. This is WVUA 23.
Burnham Hahn Exterminators offers termite and pest control solutions for residential and commercial customers in the West Alabama area. Family owned and operated, now in its third generation, we stay up to date with the latest advancements in the pest control industry to protect your family and home from pests. We're an authorized operator of the Centricon baiting system. Burnham Hahn Exterminators, here when you need us. Call us today for your complete termite and pest control services.
Pool and Patio Center has been serving the West Alabama community for 50 years, and we want to thank you for your business. We offer a full line of chemicals, parts, and accessories to make your pool or spa perfect. Drop in today and check out our Caldera spas that help you turn your home into a relaxing, stress-free escape. We've been here for 50 years and look forward to many more years to come. Come see the professionals at Pool and Patio Center for all your pool and spa needs.
Hot under the collar because your basement is full of water? Ox Foundation Solutions has the expertise and the know-how to repair cracks, wet basements and crawl spaces, and uneven floors in your home. It's time to get strong. OxStrong.com.
Everyone has a story. From simple observations to extraordinary circumstances, the people around us have compelling stories to share. Stories of leadership and dedication, of opportunities that inspire others, of accomplishments and experiences that encourage, teach, and point toward the future. These are the people and stories making an impact at Shelton State Community College. And together, this is our Shelton Statement. Begin yours today.
20 David, 50 David in need of assistance. Go!
Never be in a hurry to die.
Welcome back to Crimson Cover. This segment brought to you by Burnham Hahn Exterminators and that great local service here since 1946. Burnham Hahn offering complete pest and termite services for residential or commercial needs. They do mosquito control. They will get those fire ants. They will get those termites with that Centricon termite colony elimination system. You got to have it if you are a homeowner, especially this time of year. It gets super hot. That's when termites are active. Clay Hahn and his staff will start you off with a monthly or quarterly pest control program. Just give them a ring at 553-4433 or visit BurnhamHahn.com. We'll have Clay Hahn in here in no time soon, hopefully. All right, Nate Oates. John, in the news this week, spoke to the Next Round podcast, and it was really, I thought, an outstanding interview. Talked about this last scholarship that he's got to give for the coming season. Has decided he's not going to use it because he doesn't think that the available players in the portal, he doesn't see one that he thinks will play more than 5 minutes a game, and he thinks that's doing the player wrong to bring somebody in to play that little just to fill out your roster, which is something that, you know, if they end up with 4 injuries, John, you know, maybe that's something you rethink a year later if you're a coach and you look back. But what are your thoughts on that?
Maybe he have depth at every position. Maybe he like his depth at every position.
Sure. And that's more or less what he said. He feels like they've got everything covered.
I like it. I like it. I think he's looking out for. I think it's, you know, I respect the guy for not bringing the kid in just to say, okay, we need a kid and we're going to use this kid who's probably not going to have a lot of success here, but we're going to bring him in for selfish reasons. I like it. I like that the guy was a high school coach. I like that he understands how some kids are being done just to fill spots on other teams.
All right, here's about a minute from Nate Oates on the Next Round podcast.
The strategy is there's nobody out there good enough that we want.
Okay, so that makes sense. Yep.
We're not going to just burn it up on somebody just to burn it up. I mean, we kind of swung for some guys in the portal, and you know, and we got. Honestly, we don't have any holes. I feel like on the team, you know, there's like maybe best available that we could have got that would have really helped us, but right now, there's just nobody that we feel like would move the needle enough to, you know. And I was a high school coach for 11 years, and I try to look out for guys. Like when my high school players went somewhere and the coaches didn't look out for them, I'd get upset. Like, I don't want to bring a kid in here that's a transfer that's expecting to play, you know, significant minutes, and we just can't give them the minutes.
Right.
Like, we've got, I mean, you go through our roster, we don't really have too many holes. Now, I'm not saying that means we're going to win X number of games or all that, but we're not missing any one position like drastically with a huge hole there. So, you know, unless they were just that good to really move the needle a lot, I'm not going to screw a kid, bring him in here, play him 5 minutes a game. Like, I just don't think it's right to do that to a kid just to have security in your roster and use all the spots.
a well-defended position, John, at the very least. I can't argue with him either. Yeah. And I think high school he said as a high school coach, he would have appreciated that as a high school coach. I can see it. I'll tell you what else was interesting, though, quickly, before we move on, in those Nate Oates comments. Did you hear him say they swung kind of for the, not word for word, but it sounded like they swung for the fences in the portal, went for the elite of the elite. Obviously, they're happy with a couple guys they got, especially I think the one from Ohio. But he set a high bar for bringing in a guy from the portal. So that was part of this too.
As he should.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're going to go in the transfer portal, you want to get something out that's going to be worth the investment. No question about it.
All right, moving on, we take a look around the SEC team by team every summer, finishing out the SEC East this week with a look at the Vanderbilt Commodores. You know, Mike is not upset, John, not to miss a show where he's got to talk Vanderbilt football. The Commodores 2-10 last season, 0-8 in SEC play, last in the division over there. Offensively, Mike Wright comes back at quarterback, Ramon Davis at running back. Will Shepard will probably lead that receiving core. Defensively, Nate Clifton, Anthony Orji, and Jalen Mahoney in that secondary should lead that defense. Toughest games. The poor Commodores, John, they got to play the best two teams in the league on the road. At Alabama in September, at Georgia in October, and of course they get Florida on November 19th. So they got Ole Miss on that schedule too. Ole Miss won 10 games last year. That's a loss for Vanderbilt. It doesn't stack up well.
Well, you know, it's going to be tough to win at Vandy. It's just you're not going to be able to get the guys in you want because of academic situation and standards. And guys, a lot of guys just don't want to go to Vandy. I mean, Vandy historically just have not had a really good football program.
The reason for optimism over in Nashville, John, and I'm not saying this is my optimism, I'm just telling you why fans have a little bit of excitement over there right now. Clark Lee, who's entering his second season as coach, just put together his first signing class off a full recruiting cycle this past winter. And came up with a signing class that was ranked anywhere from 25th to 35th in the country for Vanderbilt, John. That's huge. Yep. They've never had a recruiting class like that. Not even close.
I got 3 letters for you. NIL. I'll be shocked if those 4 stars spend their entire career at Vanderbilt.
Well,
I'd be shocked.
They picked up a 4-star quarterback by the name of A.J. Swan. Remains to be seen if he'll be able to jump right in and play, or if they like the guys right who they've got coming back, who got some experience last season. The Seals kid in the mix as well. So yeah, it's such a tough. It's always been such a tough place to win. Recruiting. Primarily the reason why, and the academic standards obviously don't help either. It cuts down the pool of guys that the coach is even allowed to recruit. But yeah, I think you're right. There's still some deep pockets at Vanderbilt, and NIL is going to make them more. It helps them more than it hurts them, believe it or not.
I think it does. I think it does, but I don't think Vandy, when it comes to financial situations and NIL, I just don't. Vandy can compete with the top tier. Well, most SEC football schools.
Here's the other thing I'll say about that, too, to keep in mind. For a long time, the history of Vanderbilt athletics has been that the donors are encouraged to give academic money over athletic money to a higher degree than other schools, right? And so that's something. There have been times when the athletic department as a whole has been short over that. Well, guess what a great workaround to that problem is if you're a Vandy donor.
What?
NIL. Go right around that.
Let me tell you something.
That encouragement.
Let me tell you something.
Although I will say this, I think that problem has been solved at Vandy, but I don't think it's as much of an issue as it used to be.
If that's your model, and you play football in the SEC, I'm not saying, I mean, Alabama graduation rate for seniors is outstanding, one of the best in the country. Not saying we're just some dumb athletes just playing football. But if you're going to give to academics before you give to your college football team, you are not going to be very successful.
It's
just not going to happen.
Same thing with high school. I mean, you look at some of the booster money that goes into some of these high schools where football is important. primarily in the South, but lots of other places too. It's incredible, and it varies from one school to another, like you wouldn't believe.
It does.
And it makes a difference in facilities. It makes a difference in who's playing. It makes a difference.
It makes a difference who want to move into that school zone, who want to play for that team. It makes a huge difference.
All right, that's going to do it for this segment. We got one more to go. When we come back, we'll be talking recruiting. We got the mailbag question coming at you, and plenty more. You're watching CCTV on WVUA 23.
It's good to know that in this impersonal world, there's still a local home-owned drugstore that can take full care of you and your family. The good folks at Northport Pharmacy. Owner and pharmacist Rob Colburn will personally see that all of your prescriptions are quickly and accurately filled and your questions answered. And be sure to check out their gift gallery for the finest in gift selections featuring Alabama merchandise, photo frames, children's clothing, beachwear, jewelry, and more. Remember, when you have pharmaceutical needs, see the man who will take the time to get to know you. Rob Colburn at Northport Pharmacy, located next to CC's Pizza, Highway 82 in Northport. Burnham Hahn Exterminators offers termite and pest control solutions for residential and commercial customers in the West Alabama area. Family owned and operated, now in its third generation, we stay up to date with the latest advancements in the pest control industry to protect your family and home from pests. We're an authorized operator of the Centricon baiting system. Burnham Hahn Exterminators, here when you need us. Call us today for your complete termite and pest control services.
You want to feel important. You want to be a part of something bigger, something that matters and can help change things.
You want to feel like you belong. We know. We felt that way too, and that's why we did something about it.
We aren't just Army National Guard soldiers.
We are normal people just like you.
And together, we can make a difference.
Take on your legacy. Visit NationalGuard.com to find out more.
WVUA 23 welcomes Tuscaloosa's very own Tamika Alexander as our new senior news anchor. Our local news team now brings more than 50 years of experience to you and continues our commitment to bring high-quality local journalism to you every day. Starting in July, join us on the News at 5 and 6 as we begin the next chapter of putting Tuscaloosa's news first.
We want to hear your good news stories and be a bright spot. Share your stories with us. Visit us online and click on Bright Spots or message us on social media.
Welcome back to Crimson Cover. This segment brought to you by Crimson Village, the most active and fun-loving aging adult community in Tuscaloosa. They get the finest of dining and lifestyle experiences, plenty of activities, extensive amenities, great location as well right behind Crimson Care. Crimson Village offers 3 levels of care, including the Tide Memory Care program. And when it comes to COVID-19, they still take the highest of precautions. Give transition specialist Tim Eves a call, 632-6699, the number. He'll help you if you've got a senior in need of assisted care. Go to crimsonvillage.com to check it out. Also remember, Crimson Village owns fun. All right, John, recruiting. Next up. And we've talked about this guy before. We've heard your takes on his game. Wilkin Formby commits to Alabama over several top offers. Happened this past week. A guy you've seen a whole lot of as an assistant coach over there at Northridge. I know you were happy for him. Were you in the room here or no?
No, I was actually at the hospital. A friend of mine, wife had a baby. Wilkins is going to be a special kind of kid. He's very mature for his age. He does a lot of extra work, like we was talking about Bryce Young and the kids getting off-season work. Wilkins have his own professional coach that helps him with the pass rush and run set. He spent a lot of time away from the high school working on football. He spent a lot of time over at Alabama just watching guys, watching how they practice, watching the techniques. Spent an enormous amount of time on his own doing football. And, you know, the thing that separates the good from the great.
Just like we were talking top of the show. Doing the extra.
Doing the extra. That's exactly right. Doing the extra, and he does the extra.
And we've talked about this before, too, and this is getting off the topic, John. We'll get back to Formby in a minute. But part of the effect of all this is that the three-sport athlete, that's how that is gone. The guy that played football, basketball, and baseball in the spring in high school, that guy's gone.
Let's go.
And that's a shame.
It is. And I don't like that one bit. I don't like for kids in high school to specialize in anything. I think you get one opportunity to play everything you possibly can play. I think you should play it. But right now, though, Chase, it's not happening. I mean, everybody's specializing. If you're a basketball player, that's all you do is play basketball. And we have several at the school that I think would make outstanding football players, but they don't want any part of it. They're basketball guys.
Wilkin Formby, John, before we move on to the next topic, physically looks like he's not only he's huge, but he looks like a guy that's still got some room to grow. And actually, if you set aside how big he is, he's actually a kind of a young-looking kid.
He is.
You know what I mean?
He's a baby, though.
It looks like there's a high ceiling there.
He's a baby. He's a baby. He's going to have to get in the weight room. He's going to have to get stronger. He is probably one of the strongest, if not the strongest, on our team, but he's not compared to any college offensive lineman right now, strength-wise. Athletically, good footwork. I think he can come in. I think when he come and walk onto Alabama campus, he's going to not have an issue with his footwork.
All right, really quickly, your thoughts on Arch Manning committing to the University of Texas, big-time quarterback, heavily recruited by Alabama, who had picked up the other kid a few weeks back who kind of filled that spot, and Arch Manning heads to Texas.
I would have liked to have had the kid here, but look, the kid got to make a decision for his future. He make the best one that he make the one that he thought was best for him. Best of luck to him.
All right, we are out of time here on Crimson Cover. We will come back next week with a little bit more from the mailbag.
Wilkins, my man, congratulations.
Mike Riley, named USFL Coach of the Year, a former Alabama defensive back. Congratulations to him for the sign-off there. Heck of a player at UA. Coach of the New Jersey Generals for that first year USFL League. John, that's heading to the postseason now. For John Copeland, I'm Chase Goodbread of the Tuscaloosa News, and we'll talk to you next week.
Hotel and Suites in Tuscaloosa invites you to come and experience our award-winning hotel and exceptional hospitality. We are located just minutes from the Alabama campus and area shopping. If it's business, shopping, groups, or family that bring you to town, call us to book your stay. Once you have stayed with us, you'll understand. We welcome you as our guest, and you depart as our friends. The Holiday Inn Express.
To Baseball Country, a ministry in West Alabama that reaches far outside the diamond. We create opportunities for people of all ages and backgrounds to encounter Jesus. From baseball and softball training for high school to the big leagues, to men's and women's team sports camps, men's and women's ministry, youth mentored hunts, service projects, custom retreats, and so much more. If you want to get in the game, email sam@baseballcountry.com and follow us on Facebook and Instagram.
As you go about your day, you'll want to know what's happening to keep you ahead. WVUA 23 is all new and keeps you connected to the stories that affect you. Log on to get the latest breaking news, weather, and sports. Enjoy our redesigned look